Chapter 61, Destroying the Spirit. Yuji Tong's soul was stuck in the corner of the room, and just like a fly trapped in a sealed house, it could only randomly smash against the walls. Every time it thought it could escape, the dark liquid would force it back to its corner, causing it to be constantly weakened. Even though his soul grew weaker because of Han Li's repeated attempts at trying to cut him with his dagger, what really made him despair was the mysterious black liquid that was corroding his soul. Since the moment the black liquid touched his soul, Yuji Tong had felt his life essence trickle away, feeble and powerless. It also tore away at the little magic power he had left, which was even deadlier. This prevented Yuji Tong from performing magic, causing his casted magic techniques to fail repeatedly. It was as if he were completely restricted. Why are you trying to kill me? Why? Faced with Han Li's ruthless attacks, the ball of light that was Yuji Tong released a howl filled with anguish, but Han Li did not care about Yuji Tong's unwillingness to die. Not long after, Yuji Tong became quieter as he gradually weakened until he was finally unable to emit a sound or show a hint of movement. Seeing Yuji Tong's stillness, Han Li did not immediately stop his attack. Instead, he continued to observe the ball of light, which had dimmed until it resembled the weak flame of a candle. After a while, Han Li gave a cold answer. I would never believe you, a person so despicable that you would easily and willingly swear a poisonous oath that condemned your family and ancestors to a gruesome death under heaven's wrath. If I did work with you, then I would following Dr. Mo to his death. With a chilling glare, he gave Yuji Tong's flickering soul one last glance before turning around, and without hesitation, he swiftly pushed open the heavy door. With the door thrown open, a few sharp rays of sunlight shot inside and landed on the globe of light. Upon contact with the dying soul, the sunlight burned Yuji Tong's last remaining soul force, causing it to turn into a curl of smoke that promptly disappeared into the air with a pooh. With this, the last of trace of Yuji Tong was cleanly wiped away from this world by Han Li. To say that Han Li knew that Yuji Tong feared the light was not exactly true. He first thought of this idea when he recalled how Mo Juren, upon entering the room, quickly blew out several candles. If he did not remember this event, then he would still be hacking at the globe of light to no avail, causing an immeasurable worry to arise in his heart. Although Han Li had eliminated Yuji Tong's life essence with ease, he had prepared an extra tube of 7 poison water in advance in case his plan didn't work. Compared to the 5 poison water, which Mo Juren took away from him, this second tube contained extra ingredients that greatly increased its potency. One of the added materials was the flowered mushroom, which was extremely deadly to normal mortals and even more effective against immortal cultivators. The effect of its potency could be seen in how Yuji Tong was unable to use magic, allowing his soul to be easily destroyed. This was the reason why Han Li splashed some 7 poison water on Yuji Tong's soul. From his research of a variety of legends, there was a visible trend that ghosts, monsters, demons, and the like are afraid of chicken blood, black dog blood, and other similar bodily fluids. So in this case, Han Li treated Yuji Tong as a ghost. By guessing randomly and through pure coincidence did Han Li manage to kill Yuji Tong. If Yuji Tong knew that his death was based on speculation, he would have died again from vomiting. Han Li was not clear about all the effects of his 7 water poison, but he was certain that when he opened the door, Yuji Tong would die without fail, and it was only with this fact reassuring him that he acted tirelessly and ruthlessly. Now he was finally free and did not have to live a life of constant worry about a knife placed at his throat, nor did he have to be ready to flee at a moment's notice. Han Li calmly strode back to the center of the stone room, where he stayed for a moment before he suddenly jumped up a good 3 meters and opened his mouth to shout out his heart's joys. After he finished releasing his pent-up emotions, he finally returned back to the childish nature of a 16-year-old. I'm finally free! I'm finally free! Han Li's voice was suddenly short, almost as if a knife had swiftly descended on him when he saw the giant man standing in the doorway to the stone room. It was the giant man who Mo Juren referred to as Iron Slave. Han Li's face immediately became ugly and unsightly as he stared at the giant figure in front of him. He suddenly felt his shoulders ache as he realized that he had committed a huge mistake. He had forgotten about the giant man's existence, and therefore forgot to ask Yu Shitong about the Mojurins and the giant man's relationship along with his weakness. The only consolation Hanli had was the fact that the giant man did not show any interest in the stone room and continued to wander around the premise of the door, still following Mojurin's final command without throwing a single glance into the open room. Hanli couldn't help but furrow his eyebrows at thought that the Iron Slave was the hardest type of person to deal with, since it did not listen to reason or persuasion and would only follow orders given by its master. The other problem was that if Hanli couldn't defeat him in battle, and the only thing that stood a chance of winning was the poison he concocted. However, the cylinder that once held the poison now lay empty on the floor. This thought caused Hanli to pace back and forth in the stone room, scrambling to think of a plan to deal with the Iron Slave. But after a lot of thinking, his mind was in a mess, and he still did not have a plan. Inadvertently, Hanli's gaze fell upon Mojurin's dead body. Suddenly, he had an idea. Maybe I can find something on his body that can be used to restrain the Iron Slave, Hanli immediately thought. He quickly glanced outside and saw that the Iron Slave was still pacing back and forth, with no signs of tiredness or an intent to go near the stone room. Seeing this, Hanli calmed down a bit, as he quickly walked up to Mojurin's body and shamelessly stretched out both of Dr. Mo's arms to begin carefully examining every inch of his dead corpse.